Are you ready to do the deep internal work to assess what may be causing it? Hustling. The question is God calling you to do something, or are you just tired of the way it is right now? I had dinner with a man and we were talking, and you know how it goes when you're at dinner and everything's cool. He kind of leaned back in the chair and was like, yo, Charlie, I'm happy like with the stuff I built, what I'm doing, but is this really it? Like, is this really all there is? And so he's like, bro, I don't really know which way I should be going right now, because this really don't be hitting the same. So he's really processing this sense of restlessness and not knowing how to diagnose it. It's like, yo, Charlie, do I feel like God is telling me I should move forward, like shut this down and move ahead? And that's the question I'm gonna ask. Like, we sitting together and you ask me, and I'm like, yo, is God saying to do something, or you just feeling anxious, disappointment, all of that? And this is an important question, because as you get older, you get in the midlife, you're gonna hit some milestones. All the things you thought you were gonna do when you were a kid, you're gonna start to hit that. You're gonna hit that, man, you get married or you're in a long-term relationship. That goes on, then it's like 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, right? Then you get kids, they grow up, they don't care if they see you as much no more, all of that kind of stuff. Your body starts to change. You start feeling different. You don't got the same kind of energy you used to. You ain't got the same dog like you used to. It's just a different vibe. And so this creates a sense of restlessness or undiagnosed energy, because you just like, man, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be more than this, bruh. Like, I really thought it was going to be more exciting. I thought it was going to be more something. And so it's not that you're not successful or you haven't achieved anything, but it just don't hit the same. It just don't feel like you thought it would feel. And you know now, you've got enough experience now that if you get to the next milestone, you get to the next big thing, you get a raise, you change jobs, you start a business, you do whatever it is. You know if you do that, it ain't gonna last very long. So that's why we've got to distinguish between restlessness and God telling you to move forward. And I know what that feels like, because there was a season where I would sit in my basement and I'd be like, yo, is this really it? Like, I come home, I do my work, I do my thing. And then when I sit with men and I see others, that restless energy, it forces them to make rash decisions. I'm talking about some rash decisions. They'll shut down the business and move. They'll, get a divorce. They'll, you just start doing all kind of weird stuff, making career pivots that you like, yo, bro, what's going on? Nah, I got to switch it up. You know what I mean? I just got to make it. And so that's where we got to be careful. So here's the deal. Acknowledge that things have changed. You got to acknowledge that things have changed. And a lot of times we go through life thinking we're going to be the same as we've always been. You're not going to be the same. The only thing that's going to be consistent in your life is things are going to change. And so if you're not prepared for that, these changes feel like you're losing out on life. So you got to be able to say that. Second, if God is calling you forward, he's going to ask you internally to address some things versus externally address everything, okay? So this is what I mean, bro. Listen, A lot of times we go, okay, I just need to change the job, change the city. I need to travel. I need a new relation. I need something new to revitalize. God doesn't usually work like that. He usually addresses things that are beneath the surface that we don't want to address. What are your rhythms and habits like? How's your body doing and how's your health doing? Are there any emotions that you're afraid to address? Disappointment, grief, unsaid expectations that were not met, all kind of stuff like that. You start getting into that territory and you start to see a little bit clearly because you have gotten so bogged down. Now check this out. There's two kinds of restlessness, okay? There's desire-driven restlessness. This one calls for escapism. You're trying to escape. You're trying to get away. You avoid responsibility. You want to numb, be distracted, all of that. Then there's God-centered restlessness. God-centered restlessness looks like this. It's time to build depth and not just width or breadth. It's not just time to go big, but it's actually time to deepen who we are. Can your character sustain this season of your life? And if you're having these feelings of restlessness, we need to discern which is it. Are you trying to escape, numb, feel better, feel good? Or are you trying to build a deeper foundation so that your legacy will last long? We got to answer that question. I'll tell it to you like this. When I had chronic kidney disease, which I still do, I guess, but I got a transplant. But because of the kidney disease, I felt like I was functioning at 100%, right? Felt like I was doing good, doing my thing. I ain't got no problems, whatever. And then when I got the transplant, it was like the lights came on. It was like, yo, I could see around corners. It was like colors popped out. And what I didn't realize was because of the decline in my kidneys, my blood had so much sludge in them, so much stuff that it couldn't process out rightly, that it slowed me down cognitively, physically, so much so that I couldn't see it. But my wife was like, yo, you were doing bad. Like you get up and go to work, talk, do your thing. But it would get to a point where you come home and just crash. Like you wouldn't talk, you just go to sleep and like get dinner and then go back to sleep. And I'm like, I don't remember that. And that's how subtly life changes. There's a decline in your mental capacity. There's a little bit of a slight decline. There's a dullness to your senses and all of that. And so I would ask you a few questions. First, if you feel like, man, I got to do something different, I got to switch it up. Are you ready to do the deep internal work to assess what may be causing it? Okay? Are you ready to do the deep internal work? I had to go get blood work. You might need to get some blood work, but it might just be some hard conversations you're not necessarily ready to have. Second, are there people around you that see you in a way that can tell you how you actually come off or how they experience you? So that's a tricky one now, because I just told you, my wife had to tell me like, yo, Charlie, you weren't doing great. But I didn't know it. I couldn't see it because from my vantage point, I'm doing good. So when she told me that, it brought clarity to how I was moving and ways I needed to address that. Okay? And so, lastly, here's what I would say. God won't ever tell you to flip tables and disrupt your whole life unless it's deeply toxic, painful, harsh. Now, we go to Jesus and he's rolling in the temple. He sees all these people being manipulated. They're being harmed, not being cared for. They're blocking people's way to get to God. So Jesus got angry, started flipping tables, disrupted the whole system so that he could get things back in alignment. Sometimes we got to do a deep jump start like that, but that's usually the last resort. So before we get down into that space, let's let's just do these internal assessments first, but before we go shutting down businesses, signing divorce papers, and all kinds of stuff like that. So are you anxious? Could be. Could be. Could God be calling you to move forward? It's time to shut this down, move ahead. That could be the case. He does do that. But first, let's assess what's pushing this before we jump off the porch.